Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I will be discussing the pros and cons, in other words, the positives and negatives of junk silver, 90% silver, constitutional silver, spending silver, whichever way you like to call it. That's what I'm going to be discussing in this video today. Please hit the thumbs up button on the video, and if you think I miss any positives or negatives, pros or cons, let me know that in the comment section below. Now, in my opinion, there's not a lot of cons, so we're going to start off with the cons or the negatives first off, and then we're going to get into the positives or pros of constitutional silver. Now, a lot of people ask, why do you call it? Why does a lot of people call it? Why does anybody call it junk silver? And in my opinion, again, I agree with most of the people who say junk silver is not junk. However, that is the more commonly used terminology. That's what most people call it. That is junk silver or 90% silver or constitutional silver or spending silver. Now, for a minute, let's listen to, there we have some constitutional silver, 90% silver, junk silver right there. All right, so let's get into it, the pros and the cons. So the cons right off the bat, as I'm recording this video at the end of April 2023, the biggest con or the biggest negative right now is the fact the premiums are very, very high premiums. A few years ago, we were able to buy this stuff under spot price or under melt. Now it is way above spot price or the melt price of silver. So that for me is the biggest con. A few years ago, 2017, 2018, even go before that, we were able to buy this stuff very, very close, if not under melt. 10 times its face value, 9 times its face value. I was buying most of my constitutional silver at 11 and 12 times its face value. So that for me is the biggest con. The other con is that it is not pure. It is 90% silver, and a lot of people, I made a video on it just about a week ago, and my local coin shop, as of the recording of that video, and when I was in there, a lot of people wanted to trade in their 90% for 999 or 49s fine silver. So those are my two biggest cons, and really there's only one more con that I can really think of, and we're going to get into that a little bit further into the video. But now we're going to start with the pros. This constitutional silver. All right, the pros. Historic value. This stuff has history. It's been spent as money for a very, very long time. Now, when I talk about junk silver, I'm only referring to mainly Roosevelt dimes, Washington quarters, Kennedy half dollars, maybe Franklin half dollars. But as you get into some of the Franklin half dollars, a lot of coin shops and online dealers may be charging a little bit of a higher premium for the Franklin half dollars, and a lot of dealers definitely charge more premiums when you get into the Walking Liberty half dollars. So Walking Liberty half dollars, in my opinion, when we're talking about junk silver, Walking Liberties usually, unless they're really worn like these have a lot of wear on them, a lot of Walking Liberties key dates. And the same situation with Walking Liberty half dollars. When you talk about Mercury dimes, you're talking about higher premiums. Some of them have very key dates. Some of them are more common than others. But Mercury dimes, Walking Liberty half dollars, we're talking about more scarce, especially more scarce in better conditions. So when I talk about junk silver and 90% silver in this video, mainly I am referring to Rosies or Roosevelt dimes, pre-65 Washington quarters, Kennedy half dollars, and Franklin half dollars. While there are key dates with some of those as well, but mainly it is your average circulated common date coins. In this video, we're also not talking about 40% silver, because while 90% is not pure, well, 40% is definitely not pure. It's a lot less pure, of course, than your 90% silver. So in this video, we're just really focusing on 90% silver. Along with the history of constitutional or junk silver, also, they're not making this stuff anymore. What is produced, that is all there is. No more. But over the years, prior to 1965, pre-65, they definitely made a lot of it, but some of it goes to the refinery. Some of the constitutional or junk silver is melted down to separate the silver from the copper and the other alloys that are in junk silver to produce rounds, bars, and maybe other pure 999 and 49 fine coins. Another pro is it's fractional silver. When you talk about your dimes, your quarters, your half dollars, if you're a prepper, if you're preparing to barter with, now I'm not a prepper, I've made that clear on many of my videos on this channel. I'm not a prepper, I'm not preparing for a bartering situation, but if it does get into that bartering situation, well, now you have fractional silver. Let's listen to that one more time. And there's a reason why I have that American Silver Eagle there. And we're going to talk about that reason right now. Another pro to junk silver or constitutional silver or spending silver is it's recognizable. It's very recognizable. The problem with it being recognizable, though, and this is going to be another con, and that is it is recognizable, but to the average person, it's only recognized as 25 cents. Now, another pro is if you have to spend this for its face value, you absolutely could. It's worth more than 25 cents, but you could absolutely spend it if it came down to it for 25 cents. But speaking of spending it for 25 cents, most people, including stores, most of the general population only recognizes this as 25 cents. You, I, everybody watching this video, coin shops, dealers, we recognize this as way more than 25 cents. But if you took a clad quarter, which looks exactly the same with the exception of the date, and then if we flipped them both over to the reverse, both of these quarters look exactly the same. And unfortunately, most of the population in the United States recognizes both of these quarters as being exactly the same. Not silver, they just recognize it as being 25 cents. Unfortunately, if you go to anybody on the street and show them each of these quarters, most people would probably, in my opinion, would say that both of these quarters are exactly the same with the exception of the date. Would they know the difference between a clad and a silver quarter? I don't think so. Most people, I don't think so. I could be wrong about that, but I think most of the general population in the United States would not recognize either of these quarters as being worth more or less because of its metal content. I do want to make myself clear. When I say that both of these quarters look the same, I am referring to the design. Now, obviously, there are many differences between these quarters and what they look like. One of the differences is the date and the image of Washington looks more defined, at least it does to me. So there are differences between what these two quarters look like. The question is, would anybody on the street take the time to notice them differences? And then, of course, you also have the edges, which is also a big difference in its appearance because you can tell the silver does not have that copper reddish tone to the edge where the clad coin does. Now, a lot of times when we talk about silver bullion, we talk about the American Silver Eagle, and that's why I pulled one of these out, is a lot of people recognize this as being one of the most recognizable bullion coins. Now, again, a silver quarter is much more recognizable to the general public than a American Silver Eagle. Much more recognizable. The American Silver Eagle is 3 nines fine pure silver, while the quarter is only 90% silver. But to the average person, when you walk into a store or walk down the street, most people are going to recognize this quarter over recognizing that American Silver Eagle. But once again, in my opinion, they're only going to recognize that quarter as being 25 cents. But you and I both know that that quarter is worth much more than 25 cents. But if you had to, it would be much easier to spend that quarter as 25 cents than it would be to spend this American Silver Eagle as $1. But I've seen it done where people have spent the American Silver Eagles or even took them into the bank and cashed them in for $1. So I do know that it can be done. And I am in no way saying that this quarter should be spent for 25 cents or the American Silver Eagle for $1, because we all know that these are both worth more than 25 cents and $1 respectively. But if it came down to it, they each could be spent for $1 and 25 cents respectively. But the quarter is definitely more recognizable. But again, unfortunately, to most people, it's recognizable as 25 cents. So those are my pros, my cons of junk silver, constitutional silver, spending silver. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if there's anything that you want to add to the pros, the cons, or the positives and negatives of junk silver, 90% silver, or constitutional silver. Let me know that in the comment section below. I appreciate everybody for watching. Please hit the thumbs up button on the video. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions in the comment section below, and I will talk to everybody on my next video. Thanks a lot, everyone.